There are not enough green jokes in the world. And this event could be in light of at least two things. There's spring, and there's also St. Paddy's. Pretty Irish. I'm about a quarter Irish myself, I think. Okay, let's do this for a bit. It's a Piranha Plant time. It's not going to take long before you realize what my favorite strategy seems to be. And a strategy that I seem to rely a little too much on, or entirely on. Yep. Lawn stem strike. The irony is that I might not have needed Piranha Plant to help win all those Legend Spirit battles for me that I couldn't before. All I had to do was just get better at the game. I wonder if they should have Doki Doki Panic Spirits. I mean, this is the warp from Super Mario Bros. 2. And probably as they identify it in Japan as Super Mario USA. Everyone should know the history by now. If not, go look it up. Yeah, buried a plant underground and leave the pot sticking up. Like you're burying a plant upside down. Yeah, I know. These are probably easy peasies. Yeah, novices. That's one thing that's going to agitate me. It's finding a spirit. The sea stick seems to come to me naturally. Don't know how that happened. Oh, the heck, I'll probably be leveling these guys up in time anyway. I made up a spirit team called Hero of Worlds. Oh, you know, Ocarina of Time has the Hero of Time business. Wind Waker is Hero of Winds. So why not do the same for A Link Between Worlds? I mean, the game is called A Link Between Worlds. isn't just any wall merged Link. Okay, yes it is, but it's got the strategist style, which means my special moves are powered up. Yeah, you know how cartoony K-Rool was in Donkey Kong 64? Yeah, I know. Dad really just hit him in the dark. I wonder if this was easier with Isabel. Lights out. There's one thing I'm getting better at. It's making the shots. There is one thing I think I should bring up here. Okay, so we've all acknowledged that Shantae is a spirit in this game. We've also acknowledged that, you know, that wildcard possibility that another version of her would be a fighter or something. And what I've shown is playing around with the dojo and trying to make her more believable that she's in spirit, so to say. She's with us in spirit. Okay, so we've all acknowledged she's a spirit, and we're also prepared to embrace that she may not be one of the DLC fighters. And, but what we really don't know is if there's really any reason, or if this is just the way things are for indie games. While it's great to see that indie video games are indeed getting acknowledged here, Shantae has only as much representation as, well, Ever Oasis. Very much the same thing here. Shantae's a primary spirit, Risky Boots is a support spirit, Forever Oasis, we have Tethu as the primary spirit and Esna as the support spirit. Do I need to show you? No? Okay. Anyways. So let's move on to another female fighter. How would any of you feel about another female fighter getting in over her? Before you say it's hard to grasp, this may be a little difficult to say, but one possible reason Shantae's not in as a fighter, and this goes beyond just indie games not making it. There's also what's called waifu material, and sadly, Shantae is among them. Now sure, one could make the argument that this is pretty much true for every female character, and yet somehow Nintendo still recognizes their value enough to be in a big crossover game. Shantae's probably different because she's an indie character. Maybe that's no different, but a lot of characters seem to fall prey to the waifu material. Nevertheless, I'm going to go over 4 characters that I want to know what you think if they were to get in before Shantae. This is, call this a test if you will. You really think just because Shantae isn't going to be a DLC fighter that you want to see any more girls in Smash? You don't want to see any more female fighters? What happens if they get in before her? A girl within the same age range as Shantae is speculated to be is Arlen Nadja. But that's not one of the characters I was going to list though, so she's not really up for debate all that much. The characters who I am going to list are as follows. We have Kat from Gravity Rush. We have Morgan from Darkstalkers. Oh yeah, we have Catalina from Grand Blue Fantasy. And we have Agnes from Bravely Default. Catalina is considered a stretch because people are more worried about the type of game she's representing rather than the kind of character and personality she's supposed to be. So, yeah, it's true. Grand Blue Fantasy is what's called a gacha game, in which case people spend money and they're actually gambling it on stuff. Now, why people are saying that they don't want that to be represented in Smash or whatever the other reason is, I'm not sure if that should be definitive or not, because it's not so much the type of game so much as, you know, the characters themselves. Now, would you call me a hypocrite if I brought up Mortal Kombat? I mean, the games themselves are known for the fatality, but it's what the games are known for, I should think. And are we really acknowledging Grand Blue Fantasy as a gacha game that you gamble on, or are we just going to see it as another JRPG, and people will see Catalina as another anime sword fighter that they don't want? When we make that kind of an argument, we have to remember that the Smash Brothers games came from Japan, as did anime, and as did many video games, including video games with anime styles to them. Not to mention, people seem to forget that Link is the original sword fighter in Smash Brothers. Fair enough. and then suddenly it got flooded with Fire Emblem, and then people got sick of it. Corrin, I hear, was a character nobody asked for. So this is where I'm gonna ask for some comments, because maybe I'm missing something here. How would any of you feel if these 4 characters I mentioned, any of them, get in before Shantae? What we have is Gravity Rush isn't exactly an indie game. And from what I heard, both the games and Cat are above mediocre, as far as I know. And the remastered versions came around the time Smash Ultimate was in development. Bravely Default, now, that's Square Enix property, so if we had Agnes, that could be the Square Enix character that Virgibin went on about. But you know, he might not get one of those. Catalina is considered a stretch, but I recall user Alpha Stoutland saying that he would be pissed if Catalina made it in before Shantae. But I hope it's not about the gacha representation so much as just another anime sword fighter getting in before her. Catalina is a bodyguard character, and she's got a likable personality, I guess. And I recall seeing her in the summer attire and saying this kind of description that heads turn in her direction, but she just glowers right back, and it says she would not sheath her sword that day. So it's like, yeah, I look hot to you, but you better watch it. I have a sword. You don't just go for ladies for looks alone. The idea of representing that in Smash can't possibly be as sickening as, say, Scorpion or the Marine from Doom and what they represent, in my opinion. Not by a long shot. I'd rather have Catalina in there over characters who are just from games that, you know, if there's any fans who are just thirsty for violence. And then there's Cat from Gravity Rush. She made it into PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, as I recall. So she got her nice 3D model there. On top of that, what would make Cat a seemingly good fit for Smash is she's introducing the idea of being a gravity shifter. She's the gravity shifter, and she has the ability to control gravity. She has that cat-like being called Dusty, I believe. And with it, so come her powers. I'm not just talking about the gravity style in the dojo, that just ups the jump ability, and then there's ways of like lessening the fall speed and upping the landing lag. So, actually, would controlling gravity be a new thing? Maybe, but one thing that's likable about Cat is her optimistic personality. It's one of those. I mean, we don't just need female fighters in Smash, we need some good ones who can represent. Not only are Scorpion from Mortal Kombat and the Marine from Doom not female fighters, but whatever it is they're representing can't possibly be a good mental image for Smash. Do you want to have Scorpion come in there and rip off Mario's head? okay, it's something they wouldn't do in Smash, but if you tone that down, you pretty much get nothing. And I don't want to hear that excuse about toning them down for Injustice. Gods Among Us. That's a DC Universe game. And from what I know about DC Comics is that they can sometimes get graphic. So there's not much to tone down for Scorpion in a crossover such as that. I mean, have you people even read Blackest Night? That's almost as graphic a comic as you can get for DC Universe. So here's our indie game representation. At least I think Ever Oasis is indie. In any case, they only have 2 representatives, just like Shantae. Shovel Knight got the most attention, so I'm beginning to wonder if Shovel Knight is actually a more popular thing in Japan than Shantae is. Chances are, if Shantae is seen as being exploited for waifu material, Nintendo and Sakurai are going to want nothing to do with that. And so, just keep her as a spirit. Then we can play around with her by teaching her those dojo styles. There's a lot of things that people need to understand, including possibilities. We don't know for sure, but like I said, it's possible. And I don't really think I have anything else, so if you have anything to say about these 4 characters that I mentioned, how would any of you feel if they got in before Shantae, or how would any of you feel about having any of them in general? What is it that they have that Shantae doesn't? Maybe that's your question. But there's a reason for just about everything. We have yet to know what that is. In the case of Shantae. Or maybe we don't have to. Well, I don't think I have anything else at the moment. So I'll just be doing what I'm doing. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep making these videos.